First, we had to decide what wood we were going to use for the project. So last year during a storm, multiple of our pine trees in front of our house in Black Earth fell, so we decided to use wood from that so it'd be more sentimental and meaningful. So first we had to plane all of the wood to make sure it was all the same thickness, and we decided to do 3/4 of an inch thick on each board. Then we took a separate piece of wood and cut all of the legs out. Next, my dad and I cut the boards to size so that we'd be able to puzzle them together and make both the lid and the bottom of the desk. Next, to secure all of the pieces of wood together for both the lid and the bottom of the desk, we decided to domino them together. So I took this domino tool and drilled out sides of the desk, or sides of the wood, to be able to put dominoes into them and glue so that we could glue all of the pieces together so it would be more stable over time. So here you can see me gluing it. And then we clamped everything together so it wouldn't bow overnight while it dried. Then this is me sanding both the bottom and the top lid of the desk. So I was just sanding all the glue off. And then here we started piecing together all of the sides. And then here are the hinges, which we decided to do brass hinges that have kind of an antique look. And then we pre-drilled the sides of the desk and the front of the desk. And then I had to sand everything prior to putting it together due to us not being able to sand the inside once it was on. And then we clamped everything together so it would have right angles overnight. Next, I had to sand all of the legs of the desk so that we could screw them into the frame. And then here we decided to lie the lid of the desk and the hinges on just to see how everything would be placed together. And then at this point in time, we hadn't quite trimmed the lid yet, so it does overhang. Then overnight, we puttied all of the holes in the desk, and then the next day, we sanded all of the excess putty off of it. So here is me electric sanding, and then here is us sanding the inside of the desk as well with just manual sandpaper so that we wouldn't accidentally eat away at the desk or we are able to get into the tiny crevices of the desk that we wouldn't be able to with an electric sander. And then finally we got to paint. So we decided to choose this green color. It was both a color that I enjoyed and also it matched, we thought, Henry Thoreau's desk pretty well. It had kind of a yellowish tint to it, which we liked because that was similar to how Thoreau's desk had. It had a lot of yellowy undertones, so in the video, it looks a lot more cool-toned than it does kind of in real life, but here is me doing the first coat of the desk. And then, in a moment, you'll see the final first coat of the desk all finished. You can still see a lot of the wood grain underneath, but it's a good, nice, pretty green color. And then here is me starting the second coat. So here's me painting the underside of the desk, top. I had already done the inside kind of bottom of the desk, so this was me kind of finishing up. And then here is the final of the second coat. We will have 3 coats before we finish, and here's the whole second coat finished. Then the next day I came back and painted the third coat on, and then finally we were able to attach the hinges and then attach the lid to the desk. So here's the final product.